Hello everybody and welcome back to grade 7 technical requirements for piano. Actually, I've been doing this for like 2 hours now, so I'm not sure what video number we're on. I think we're on video number 5. The sun is slowly setting, so if it's getting a little bit darker, that is why. Where did we leave off? We finished all of our scales, so that is exciting. The next category in the book is chords. So chords are here. Actually, they're exactly the same chords that we've done before. Like I said before, I like to compare the major and the minor. So if we're going to do them, I want to do them this way. If you look at it, it says broken only. So that's kind of exciting. I like to do a kind of different technique about this. Sometimes people are better at learning them solid. If your hands can reach, if your hands cannot, then just do it broken only. Then it has root position inversions, which just means that you're moving along and then ending with a 1, 4, 5, 1 progression. That's the cadence, end of your sentence. Basically, it makes your chords sound nice and fancy. So let's flip the page. Chords. The following chords are written in 1 octave range, which means that you don't end here, but you end a little further because you're supposed to play 2 octaves. Okay, this is the fancy end of your sentence, the cadence of your phrase, and we will show you all of that. I'll show it to you after we do this whole part. Okay, so C major, tonic 4-note chord. Let's look at the keyboard. Okay, so tonic 4-note chord means C, that's your tonic, the first note. A chord means you're doing a group of notes. This is a triad, like a triangle, has 1, 2, 3 sides or 3 notes. A 4-note chord actually just means that you add one more, and that's a C, the same note that you already have, nothing new. So in reality, you only have 3 different letters, and these are the 3 letters you always look for. Okay, so now let's talk about how far we have to go. Originally, the book says you go to this C, but that's what's written. In reality, it says you have to do 2 octaves. So how come that's not 2 octaves, you wonder? Let's review. This is 1. So that's not enough. This is the same group that you did over here. That means you only made it 1 rotation. So let's go further. I'm going to start lower, so let's start here. And then you're done and you can go back down. This one you repeat the top note. Okay, so if you follow the book, it does have prescribed fingering, preferred fingering. Generally, I like to think of the fingering as what's more comfortable when you do an octave, which is why even though it says broken only, you might want to try and learn them broken solid. What I mean by that is you do the broken notes and you try, if you can reach, solid. What finger should we use? Should it be finger 3 or finger 4 with a very, very wide stretch? Not very comfortable, but we can try. I can barely reach that. I can't even hit this note. Some people's hands are bigger and that's comfortable for them. I don't recommend it. This finger 3 is definitely way more comfortable. So that's a broken and a solid, and then that will tell you what fingering to do. Then you would do the same for this one. Definitely finger 4, finger 3, that's a really uncomfortable stretch here. So 4. And if you don't know what's a more comfortable stretch, it is what you can wiggle. So this wiggling finger, lots of space. This wiggling finger barely can do anything. So 3, 4. This one. 4, this is nice and comfortable. 3, that is not as comfortable. So this one's 4. And that's it, because there's only 3 shapes. So root position, the first inversion, the second one. This is your second inversion. That's what they're called. It doesn't really matter as long as you know what you're doing. So this is your first one. This is your second one. Okay, so that is broken only. But if you struggle, just figure it out based on the solid pattern, what fingering to do. Fingering helps you play faster in the future if you know what notes you're hitting, because the shapes are actually all the same in all the different chords. At least like 80% of them are the same. So then you do the same thing for your left hand. So the left hand is, you can play lower over here, but just for the sake of showing you this is easier for me, we're going to do this. So finger 3 wiggles, lots of space. Finger 4 wiggles, actually lots of space for me too. So if you want to use a finger 4 or finger 3 here, I don't think it matters as much. The book probably prescribes finger 4. Let's look. Ta-da, 4, because 4 is the shape of the same opposite as your right hand. So this is 4, and then this is 4 again. And then this is 3. Anyways, based on your wiggles. Wiggles, not so much wiggles. That's more comfortable. Definitely more comfortable than that one. But you see the finger 1 and the 2 and the 5 always are being played. Definitely finger 3, not finger 4. I mean, technically you can wiggle your finger 3 more, but this is a big empty space, so this should be finger 3. Okay, so I can't remember if it's broken, or sorry, if it's hands together. It probably is. Yes, so good luck me. I haven't done this in a while. Let's give it a try. I changed my fingering. Anyways, as long as you can hit the notes, it should be fine. It's ideal to use your finger 4, but my left hand finger 4 is super weak. That's what happens when you don't practice it very much. So now let's talk about the cadence. So the cadence is super easy in the left hand, so I'm going to show you the left hand first. It's called 1, which is the first note, 4, and then 5, and then 1. I actually find the grade 8 cadence a little bit easier than the grade 7 cadence. So if I make more mistakes on this, I'm so sorry. But that just means 1, 4, 5, 1. The reason why it's more challenging is because you move a lot more in the grade 7 version than the grade 8 version. But I'll show you what I mean. So 1 is the 1 chord, which means it's these 3 notes. 4 is the 4 chord, which means it's these 3 notes. And then 5 again is the 5 chord, which means it's these 3 notes. And then sometimes this one, but these 3 notes. So the right hand does that, but in inversions, which means that you're changing them. Instead of doing this, you're doing them in a much more comfortable, closer area. So this one's 1, C major. 4 is actually the one I showed you over here. This is 5, which is these 2, and that one, and then back. Okay, so that was confusing, right? Let's take a look at what the right hand's doing. Right hand is doing, basically, this is your first chord, the broken one, but it's these 3 notes now. Definitely try and use the fingering that the book prescribes, because if you use this, you don't have to move your fingers very much. The 5 stays, the 2 stays but is not played, the 1 moves. So the 2's here. That's your 4 chord. The 5 chord stays, everything stays, but you only play the 4, the 2, and now the 1 is far away. So that makes a lot of sense when it's all white keys. When you go into different keys, it's a different sort of movement because you have to hit the right letters, black keys included. But basically here to here is a half step in a major. And then from here to here is a half step in a major. And that's it. Okay, that is C major. So C minor, the cadence, we just talked about how it's a little bit different because black keys. I'm going to start from the top. So C minor, the chord. Let's take a look at that. If you look carefully, it looks like there's a lot of black keys, but in reality, only one of them is black. And I like to use the same principle as before. You can read it if you want, but it's easier just to compare them between C major and C minor. So we'll go back to the keyboard. So C major was this. If you remember what I talked to you about in harmonic keys and how they change from major to minor, basically this note, the finger 3, goes down 1/2 step. So now, instead of doing this, you have this one, which makes it choosing the fingering a little bit more important because of the fact that now there is a little bit more challenge in hitting an extra black key. Okay, so that's finger 3. That's finger 4. Technically, it says finger 4 in the book. Sometimes some people will finger 5, finger 3 a little bit more comfortable. It is supposed to be finger 4, but whatever is easier for you. And then that's it for the right hand. Here's the left. Those ones. Definitely finger 4. I know some people will try and do a finger 3, but that is really uncomfortable because the black key is right here and you're going to hit it by accident. So 4. And then here's the 3 is way more comfortable than the 4 because of this huge gap, and that is how you do that. So hands together, again, is a little bit hard if you don't practice. So if I make mistakes on fingering and stuff, that's why. Okay, so I don't know if you noticed, but my left hand is definitely the weaker hand. Don't really show very much when I'm teaching or when I'm playing. Most songs are right hand based, right hand dominant, so that's why your left hand will generally get less practice. Practice it separately. You'll get better at it. Okay, cadence. Left hand, easy peasy. Exactly the same. Doesn't change. This one, let's review. The C major was this. So the notes that change are actually in the 1 chord, this one, and the 4 chord. The 5 chord stays the same. What I mean by that is, if we remember the 3 letters, let's tilt this down, is sad, minor. That's your first chord. Also sad, so not here, but here. This one just happens to be, and you're supposed to always make it happy, major, so it's always those letters. So now let's take a look at what those letters are. So originally here is now here. Instead of this note, you play this note. Originally here, you play this note instead of that note. And then from here, you go back, and this was the original one from C major. It's the same one. It's still G major, the chord. And then you go back. Okay? All right. So now let's talk about where you're moving. So the reality of it is that it's these 3 notes from the 4-note chord. Then this moves, instead of a half step, a whole step now, because it's much further away. Well, it's only actually 1/2 step away, but 1 extra half step. And instead of being white, it just has to sound sad. And then you go here, which is still a half step away. And then you go back. Okay? So it's all together, it sounds like this. And officially, you would play the 4-note chord, come here, and then you finish like that. So let me show that to you once. Good luck me. Like I said, this one is probably going to make some mistakes. Okay, and that's it. Okay, so I think that's long enough. I guess we only had a chance to cover the C major and C minor chord for this video, but the other ones should be a little bit more straightforward now that you kind of know what we're doing with the shape and how to choose your fingers. I might go over that again, but I probably won't, just to save on time. But I hope that was helpful. Good luck with your scales. It is not easy. If you practice it though, it will get easier. So happy practicing. Good luck everybody, and I'll see you next time.